Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Lauren here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is James, and he's selling his Amazon Associates and display advertising business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Welcome to the show, James. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm really well, thanks.
Great, that's excellent to hear, and I can't wait to learn more about your business. But before we dive in, I'm going to go over a brief summary of the business. This is an Amazon Associates and display advertising business. It is in the home niche, and it was created in September 2016. The average monthly revenue for the business is $4,523, and it makes an average of $4,325 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 57198 to learn more about the business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that we know more about the business, let's see what assets are included in the sale. There is a domain and all site content and files, Pinterest, Facebook, and YouTube social media accounts, as well as an email list with 340 subscribers. So now that we know the business that we're talking about, let's learn more about the seller. James, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Sure. I started building affiliate sites back in 2015 in the hope of earning a bit of passive income. Things have gone really well since, and I've been doing this full time for around 4 years now. I've got quite a large folio of sites now.
Oh, fantastic. It sounds like you've had a lot of success in the content site arena. What gave you the idea to start this site in particular?
I wanted to build a site that wasn't too concentrated on any specific product so that I could scale it quite easily, but also not too general that its authority in the space was questionable. I think I found the right balance with this site, and it seeks to solve a couple of common lifestyle problems related to the home. Also, at the time I started it, the Amazon affiliate program was paying 8% for sales in that category. So that was a big part of my decision as well.
Yeah, that's a really clever approach. I like the way you really thought that through. You mentioned Amazon Associates. How does this business primarily make money?
It uses the Amazon affiliate program and display advertising. The split is generally around 50-50, but it changes throughout the year with the seasonal advertising RPMs.
Okay, great. So, sounds like you put a lot of thought into this business and how you're going to grow it. What are the reasons that you're selling it now?
I've recently had a baby, which has made me reassess how I make my money and my risk tolerances, basically. So I'm in the process of selling the whole folio of websites and moving into real estate.
Congratulations on the new addition to your family. That's very exciting.
Thank you very much.
So while you were building up this site, was there anything that you learned from this business that you would apply to any future businesses?
Yes, I've had this site for a long time, and the Google search engine has changed a lot over that time. I've had to narrow the scope of the site over this time, as I think it's important you're not seen as a generic affiliate money-grabbing website. I think it's really important that your site offers value in the way of information, and I've focused a lot on adding informative guides over the last few years and less so on money pages, if you will. I've added articles that make sense logically rather than just because they target big keywords. Of course, you want to generate as much traffic as possible, but I've learned it's important to write for the reader too. And this is something that I would bring to any future projects.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. Definitely very relevant. On the flip side of the coin, I'm sure there were some things that didn't quite go according to plan. If you had to go back and start this business again, is there anything that you would do differently the second time around?
In the beginning, the scope of the site was too large, and I tried to include too wide a range of products. this definitely didn't work, and something I've learned to change for the future.
Yeah, that's a good point. Better not to stretch yourself too thin when it comes to all the products. So where does most of the traffic come to your site from?
The majority of the traffic is organic and comes from the Google search engine. About 93% of traffic is organic, with 66% of this coming from the US. Canada and the UK also contribute significant traffic. Pinterest could be a significant driver of traffic for someone with experience with it. The Pinterest profile has 1,500 followers and 350,000 monthly page views at the moment.
Wow, that's quite impressive. You mentioned most of your traffic comes organically. So do you do anything currently in terms of marketing?
At the moment, very little. The site has pretty much been on autopilot for a few months now. In the past, publishing regular content and promoting it with guest posts was always a solid strategy. The email list is something I've always meant to utilize for this, but never got around to.
If you were to keep the business, what are some of the ways that you would try and grow it further?
There are a few ideas for this, one of which is the highest traffic driving pages on the site are currently under monetized. They previously made thousands of dollars a month with a private affiliate program, which has since become unreliable. So they earn nothing from this right now. The links remain, but they're not earning. So replacing this income with another affiliate program is an easy win. Another thing would be to phase the Amazon affiliate program. It only pays 3 to 4% in this niche now, where other programs in the niche can pay double this. I was recently accepted for one that sells similar things at 6%, but there are loads of others. Another tip would be to make use of the sizable Pinterest following. The Pinterest profile gets a lot of eyes on it, but very little of this actually comes to the website. The experience with the Pinterest platform can easily leverage this traffic. Using the email list would be something that could easily drive more traffic. I've never used the email list for anything other than promoting recently published content, so there's a big opportunity here. And just to keep publishing. The site hasn't been pushing out regular content for a while, and that's the easiest way to get more eyes on the site.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like there's a lot of growth opportunities there. So I'm sure buyers will be listening in very keenly. James, can you walk me through your role in the business? How many hours per week do you work on the business, and what sort of tasks take up your time?
At the moment, just 1 or 2 hours a week, mainly maintenance. So I update WordPress plugins once or twice a week, which doesn't take too long. Update the WordPress theme. I keep an eye on keyword rankings and traffic just to make sure everything's okay and no problems have popped up. And I also check into Google Search Console once a week, just again, make sure that nothing's gone wrong. There are no warnings. But yeah, at the moment, it takes up very little of my time. It's been on autopilot for a good few months now.
Lovely. Yeah, it definitely sounds like a good passive business, something that doesn't take up too much time. What skills or requirements would you say that the new owner would need in order to run the business successfully?
I would say knowledge of SEO is essential. Knowledge of the niche, not important. This is something that can be easily learned. I certainly had no prior knowledge of the niche when I started the site anyway.
Great. Yep. So it sounds like there's a fairly large scope in terms of who could run the business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What would you identify as the biggest risks with the business that a buyer should be aware of?
The fact that the majority of the traffic comes from the Google search engine is a risk. Google updates can potentially have a big impact on traffic, both positively and negatively. You can negate the risk by making use of other avenues of traffic like email lists and things like that. But yeah, if you get the majority of your traffic from Google, there's always a risk there.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. So obviously no one knows this business better than you do. What sort of support are you willing to offer buyers to help ease the transition?
Whatever they need, really. I mean, the 30 days of email support and a couple of Skype calls is fine with me, but I'd happily answer further questions. I'd love to see the website be a success with whoever would buy it.
Fantastic. And would you be open to negotiating something like an earnout?
No, I'd quite like to just get a deal done and move on to the next thing, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. And would you be willing to commit to a non-compete agreement?
Yeah, that's no problem. I'd do that.
Great. So, James, what advice would you give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you first started this business?
The first would be to focus on quality content and not just to pump out content targeting high traffic keywords, to write for the reader rather than just the search engines. I would also narrow the scope of what you write about, focus your energy on a few specific areas instead of spreading the net too wide and getting greedy, and also to work with more private affiliate programs rather than the popular Amazon one. There are bigger payouts there that can reward your work much more handsomely.
Yeah, those are all fantastic points and very valuable. James, why do you think the content site business model is great for those who are interested in starting out in online business?
I think there's a very low barrier to entry. There's nothing overly complicated in any of it. There's just a lot of little things you've got to learn. So certainly for me, I've never found anything overly difficult or complicated. It's just been a fact of bringing together lots of little pieces of knowledge. So I think anyone can do it, really. There's a very low barrier to entry.
Yeah, fantastic point. That's very true. So before we wrap up the interview, we've got probably the most important question, which is, if you had to put yourself into the shoes of a buyer, why do you think your business is a business worth buying?
There's a huge potential for growth here, especially if you have experience with these type of sites or this niche. There are loads of products that the site hasn't yet covered, but has authority in very similar areas. Things like introducing different affiliate programs besides or instead of Amazon are also easy wins. Yeah, I just think there's a huge upside here if you know what you're doing, especially if you know what you're doing. There's some big wins to be made here in experienced hands.
Well, those are all very compelling reasons why someone would buy the business. So I wish you the best of luck with the sale.
Thank you very much.
James, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners that I might have missed?
I don't think so, no. I think we've covered everything.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for being on the show and sharing your business with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 57198. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.